Coming up next is the November 9th meeting of the Michigan City Board of Cemetery Trustees. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Cemetery Trustees to order this 9th day of November 2023. Roxanne, would you please read the roll call?
Yes, Virginia Keating.
Here.
Davis Bush.
Here.
Bernadette Demke. Here. Marianne Nilzarek.
Here.
Carolyn Miller. Here. Steve Janis.
Here.
And Renee Bauer. She's absent.
Okay, moving on to the approval of minutes of the October 19, 2023 meeting. All those in favor? Signify, please.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the financial reports. Now, we tabled the financial reports last month, so I don't see that you gave us the new form for last month. Is that correct?
Yeah, the only thing that we've distributed today is the report for this.
Okay, all right. Well, I have a couple questions anyways, because I went over your report that you gave us last week, and so I just have a couple questions, if you would bear with me. You gave us a deposits and distribution summary sheet, which said that there was a transfer to the extension fund of $3,340. Why was that done? Do you want to take a look at that?
Was this the one where they may have put it in the wrong account? I have to double check with my assistants. They may have put it in the wrong account and they were
Transfer funds.
Okay, what account was it put in originally, do you know?
I think it's Swan Lake, and it should have been an extension fund.
Okay, all right, gotcha, all right.
Yeah, that was a collection.
Okay, all right. Okay, now I am looking at, let's see, I'm looking at this report that says Michigan City Cemetery Extension Account, and there's a negative value of $25,689. Okay, can you explain that?
That would be what we call an unrealized loss in the account. So these funds that you have in the account, like the mutual funds, they have bonds inside of them. So what we report to you is the value of those funds on a monthly basis. So as interest rates rise, which they have been, as you know, the last couple of years, the value of existing bonds goes down. So it's an inverse relationship.
Okay.
So you would have, and they're unrealized losses because we haven't sold these funds, but the value has fluctuated.
Okay, so the longer you hold, the differences will.
And the other thing too is, the reports will show you the market value and the unrealized gain or loss, but it doesn't reflect all the interest or dividends you've been receiving over time. So if you go back and factor all that in the total return of these funds, you're probably not down over time.
There won't be a negative.
Yeah, and we could always go back and look at specifics, but that's the only downside of this. You don't see all the dividends you've been collecting over time. So we look at these funds and investments as a total return.
Okay.
The dividends and the market value.
Okay. And of course, my concern is that, is this the right place for us to be if we're losing $25,000 over time?
No, sure, I understand. Yeah, and that's just kind of the nature of the mutual funds, and they're all government-backed securities that are in those mutual funds, but they do have value fluctuation, over time, a market value fluctuation. So, that's just kind of the nature.
But if you hold them to maturity, you'll get face value.
Yeah, which is whatever it's going to be at that particular time.
No, it's whatever it's the face value of the bonds.
Okay, all right.
At maturity, you're going to get the.
So if you had $5 in it, and that's a face value, you get your $5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the individual.
But if you get rid of it before that, you'll get less money.
Yeah, so when you have like individual, you guys have a lot of individual CDs in there. Like you said, with the individual CDs, you'll see value fluctuation as well, but at the very end, you get back that full amount. With the mutual funds, it's not exact science like that because you don't have individual security, it's a conglomeration or a basket of all these different bonds. But it's the same principle, if you hold that over time, you're gonna have a positive return over the long term. You know, it's not, it doesn't tell you specifically for each period, but over the long term, you're gonna have.
Okay, and I think that my questions point out the issue that we had last time, is that we received these documents. We didn't have time to review them. We don't understand them. And so I think from this point forward, we need to go over these things in more specificity with you guys, okay, so that we do understand, because obviously, we can't do our jobs properly if we don't understand.
And as I think as Aaron mentioned in the email, we will get these to you guys ahead of time, about a week ahead of time.
That's great, and that's perfect.
If you'd like to have a special meeting, we could go out to the cemetery and meet you, or here, or wherever, if you wanted to have like an off-camera, just going over the.
I think we need a training
To
session.
understand
Yes, yes, I think we do need that.
Yeah,
I think that would be
I'd be happy
important.
to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well then let's move on to the current report. Aaron?
Sure.
Well, to begin, the summary, with reference to the permanent maintenance Greenwood account. It shows that the account was down 1.2% for the month and is down 0.8% year to date.
Can you look at this thing? This is recording
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, my mistake. Let me rephrase. The maintenance Greenwood account shows that the account is up 0.27% for the month and is up 2.38% for the year. With regard to the permanent maintenance Swan Lake account, the account is up 0.28% for the month and is up 2.56% for the year. With respect to the extension fund account, the account is up 0.26% for the month and is up 2.62% for the year. And finally, with relation to the merchandise and commissions fund account, the account is up 0.1% for the month and is up 3.10% for the year. With regard to the details of the individual accounts, beginning with the permanent maintenance Greenwood account, the money market is currently yielding 5.24%, which is up from last month's yield of 5.22%. The mutual funds overall yield is at 3.31%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.19%. And the overall yield in the account is at 3.57%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.48%. Moving to the permanent maintenance Swan Lake account, mutual funds overall yield is at 3.41%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.29%. The overall yield is at 4.12%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.56%. Focusing now on the extension fund, the mutual funds yield is at 3.43%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.32%. The overall yield in the account is at 3.86%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.78%. And finally, with respect to the merchandise fund account, the mutual funds yield is at 3.40%, which is up from last month's yield of 3.30%. The overall yield in the account is at 4.91%, which is up from last month's yield of 4.8%.
Thank you. I just want to ask a question. I'm probably going to drive you crazy, but can you explain to us before we meet to go over these accounts, okay, these reports, can you explain to us the difference in your reporting between these and these?
That statement. Sure, so the first page of the report that we show you with these two columns it's basically a summarization of information that's on those statements, but it's more, there's more specific items that are highlighted on this report. For instance, when we give you your income distributions every quarter, we have a special line on here that says income distributions. There's something on here that tells you when we make payments to say Matthews in the company that you guys pay out a lot. So that the information is all on those statements, but this kind of summarizes and highlights it more.
Would you say that this is the detail?
It's a copy of the details. I think it's the same information on those statements, but it's presented in a way that it's more streamlined and
More
concise and easier than digging out the information.
Okay.
You say it's the same information as on the which statements are you referring to?
These here.
Those are the formal statements.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, so it kind of takes the information from the formal statements and presents it in a more streamlined fashion. I guess
Thank you.
it has it on one
Right.
page.
That
Now,
helps.
I will say the information on the account detail pages, which are pages 2 through 5, that's more directly from the statement. It's more of it's almost exactly what you see on the statement, basically, but it's just something you manually type in and copy from the statement.
Okay.
So that's just
We're taking baby steps here.
yeah.
Okay, and so what I would suggest is when we would meet, that we look at both of these and compare, and you show us where the duplication is, where there's.
Yeah, we can compare and contrast.
That will help us understand.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Do I have a motion to approve the financial reports for Horizon Bank?
So move.
I'll second that.
Then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I really appreciate you trying to accommodate us.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
If I could just add, I did hand out this.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a report that I want to put in front of you. And you can go over this actually too next time, because it's not urgent. But it just shows you the individual CDs or treasuries, I think right now they're all CDs, that you hold in each one of the accounts. There's 3 accounts that you hold individual CDs or treasuries. And it's called a ladder because it shows you when those maturities are. So this first page will show you have $200,000 maturing this year, which is the end of December, and then next year you have $100,000 maturing. So it just gives clients an idea of how this is all spaced out to see if you want to do a 2-year CD next time, 3 or 4, you want to do a combine it, so it just gives you a visual of when you have money maturing. So we can talk about that at the meeting.
Well, I think it will be beneficial to both you and the board to understand where we're at here.
Sure.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, and moving on.
Maybe in the mail.
Oh, interest checks.
I presume that, but I didn't talk to operations about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just let me know. Let's give me one to us, and every month you just run it up and off the season's now, and then try to come in on this one there. Because when you do it,
Yeah.
It was quarterly.
okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
You may not be able to tell because I can't tell from this. But will we have maturity between now and our next meeting?
No, it'll be, the maturity will be at the end of December, so we'll be meeting right before.
Okay, so there'll be no November.
No, maturity in November, yeah.
Okay.
It'll just be December, so, yeah, so the next meeting, we kind of talk about what you guys want to do with those maturities.
Okay,
But, I think the 21st is when those maturities are of December, so we'll be meeting, I think, right before that.
okay. All right, thank you.
And we'll get back to you to coordinate. If you could give Roxanne dates that you're available and times, then we'll see if the board members are available.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, good to see you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the internal financial reports and a review of our profit and loss statement. As you can see, the operating receipts for the month of Greenwood were $10,771.25. The operating disbursements for the month were $23,204.80. So there's a loss of $12,433.55 for Greenwood. On Swan Lake, the operating receipts for the month are $19,282.35. The operating disbursements for the month are $21,286.37, with a loss at Swan Lake of $2,004.02, and the total loss for the month is $14,437.57. And that's that. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, then let's move on. We've already approved the Swan, or the Horizon Bank reports. Do I have a motion to approve the internal financials?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now we reach our big time here, and that's the superintendent's reading of the bills.
Alright, picking on me, there's something in the door here apparently, water and sewage, $37.94. Cable and Ace Hardware, miscellaneous repair parts, $56.73. Matthews International for bronze lettering, $2,118.08. Michigan City Auto for repair parts for our vehicles, $38.98. NIPSCO, gas and electric, $487.13. Republic trash pickup, monthly charge of $131.59. Riggs, mowers and more. Repair parts for the lawnmowers, $137.43. Is permanent maintenance all Swan Lake, or is it, you didn't break it down? Is it all Swan?
It's all Swan.
Okay.
Yes.
Permanent maintenance receipts, $1,088.65, all Swan Lake. Extension fund receipts, $2,563. Merchandise receipts, $1,769 for a total of $5,420.65. And those are the reading of the bills, Madam President.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to pay bills?
I move we pay the bills.
And I second
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the superintendent's report.
It's going to be quick. Greenwood Cemetery, right now we're at about 90% of our done with our leaf cleanup. What we've done for the last several years is we've mulched all the leaves and only pick up the piles in the spring that have been left over in the winter. But when they're mulched, it helps the grass and it helps us also. Number two, with that being said, with everything almost being caught up and almost done, 2 seasonal workers are being let go, terminated, Friday, November 10th, which would be tomorrow. Each had been told that if they would like to be rehired in the spring, to fill out an application in mid-March of 2024. I'm sure somebody may want to talk to them. Just a reminder for the fall cleanup at Swan Lake Memorial Gardens, starting November 15th and lasting 1 week. No decorations will be saved and all the vases will be turned down for the winter months. And the last one is we are sending out, like we have for the last 35 years, holiday closings for both cemeteries to all the funeral homes in Michigan City and the Port. to let them know what the schedule is through the upcoming holidays. We also include a schedule of holidays for 2024. That's pretty much it, ma'am.
Thank you. Moving on then to old business, and this is concerning Daniel McCoy and the OSHA audit. I received a draft copy today of his contract, and I just had a few seconds to look it over. I did look it over as far as cost to this board, and there's a provision of compensation of $150 an hour, not to exceed, I believe it's like $12,500 I think that that's a little bit more than what we probably are going to be able to afford, but the procedure I would suggest would be we go to the controller with that information and let her determine whether or not that's something that's feasible for us before we make a decision. So I'd suggest that this go on our agenda for next month.
Okay.
All right. The next thing is, we have this guy over here that's abandoning us, and so we gotta find somebody to fill for him. I want the board to know that there have been 3 applications submitted so far. And the process is that we're taking applications in-house first. And that application procedure will terminate, I think it's the 13th of November. So basically what we would probably want to do is to start interviewing however many, if there's more, or if somebody withdraws, how many we have the week of the 27th of November. So just kind of, keep that in mind. We'll get back to you after the 13th and we can discuss when and where we can meet, okay, at what time. But just so you know, so I don't, upset your schedules. And also, they're attached to that application, which was electronically, it's on the city website under their job postings, is a job description. All of you need to have copies of that. Roxanne, you can either go on it, get it yourself, or tell us now whether you want to receive one, whether you want Roxanne to send you a copy.
What site is it on?
It's the city, just the city's website. It's eMichiganCity.com, and then you go to jobs, and it'll show the posting for the superintendent's position. So, whatever you want to do, if you want to have it sent to you, tell us now, so we know.
Yeah, send me it.
I can.
Okay, and
I
we're
can
gonna mail
send
it
both
to
of you email.
Carolyn.
I could probably find it, but.
But no,
Yeah,
it'll be
thank
easier
you.
for me. No, you're fine. I can do that for you.
All right. Anybody got anything to add or talk about? Yes, Mark.
I talked to Tanisha today, and I told her that there would be a one-day overlap, because it starts on January 16th instead of Monday the 15th. I said, we don't.
It's a holiday.
We don't have that holiday.
Okay.
Our offices are open on the 15th, so I told her, and she said she would rectify it.
Yeah, good, okay. Anything else anybody's got to say?
I do. Just real quick, with the cemetery's financial, I just want to let everybody know that we didn't get our interest checks yet for Greenwood and Swan Lake, so our financial might be better next month.
Oh, good.
That's why I was talking to Brad.
Not a whole lot, though.
No, maybe not, but still, it still comes in handy.
And I'm really not abandoning. It's 40 years of my life here. It's time for me to go.
Teasing.
I know.
Good grief.
I know. But it's
I'll
time.
have you in speed dial.
No. My wife won't let anybody call me.
I don't know if I should make this observation or not, but some of the members' terms are going to expire in December, and you might want to make it known whether or not you want to be on the board. The mayor.
You want to know who?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, and Steve.
I think I am.
Yeah.
You.
Yep.
And you.
Yeah. And
Those three.
so if you want to continue on the board, I
The next
suggest you might have contact the mayor
Yeah, you'd be up in
before the changeover in January.
24. At the end of 24.
Okay.
Anything else? I hope that you agree with me about these financials. You know,
No, I
I'm not an
appreciate,
accountant,
I
so
appreciate you doing that. I thought it was just me that could hardly find where to start.
yeah,
Especially with the previous, this I was a little more used to.
And I don't
yeah,
know,
the previous one works well, but I want to know how that interacts with the other one.
I don't understand this. This is kind of a redundancy to everything that's on here already. I don't, why,
You gotta talk to them about it.
why would they do, because you're getting charged for all this. And that's what I've been doing for the last 35 years, is watching the money and everything. And I just went through here with what here, it's the same,
Yeah,
it's a duplicate to me.
yeah.
Well, I couldn't have found when these expired
They're
though.
you have to go to where like on this, the first two on the front page are under the Michigan City Permanent Maintenance for Greenwood. At the bottom, it's a Wells Fargo Bank, 100,000, and a financial federal bank at 200,000.
Oh,
the second
and
page
check
in.
the expiration
Yeah,
date.
just check it, right next to it's where they expire, and that's just the same thing that's in here. It's much easier, like Regine said, is right here, everything's right here.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's
that
why I
only
wanted to go back
works
to that.
if we
But I
have
still
a-
wanna know what this is all about.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah, this is a good visual, but I agree, but still, if we don't get them ahead of time, it's,
well, that's
we're
what I'm,
approving
that's
stuff we
what,
don't even,
well,
you
that's
know.
exactly what's happened. I've
Yeah.
told them they have to get it to us a week before the meeting, because we cannot look at these things at a meeting and make educated guesses when we really don't have time. Now, this guy might be able to do it, but I can't.
But that would mean we'd have to print all this out ourselves, right?
Well, it'll get emailed to you.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to print
Print it,
it.
because I had to read, right? I mean, just me, that's me.
Well, that was the only solution I could find, but if
No,
we're
we
gonna-
definitely need them ahead of time. I
We've
think.
gotta have
Unless
it
you
ahead of
want to
time.
email it.
I mean, this is nuts, not even,
Because I
About
can't
2
email
minutes to look at it
That's
before we
right.
start talking about
Okay,
it.
let me
we're
know
not
if there's
prepared.
anything
How are
you
we supposed to ask
want to do that. I can
intelligent
do that.
questions if we don't really know what we're looking at, you know? You just shove it in front of somebody. Okay, anything else? Then I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it. Okay, call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We adjourn.